Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. How are you? Okay? All this fine?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right. Today I will do this. Have you tried question the problem on chapter number 5? I will give you some ideas, all right, how to do that question, 1 and 2. And then I will discuss the quiz so that you can go through your answer, and over the weekend probably you can work it out again. Then we're going to finish up chapter number 5. If I have time, then we will go to the chapter number 7 on the subsidy program. So let's start with the problem at the end of the chapter number 5. Now, if you look at the problem, you are given, I hope you already have tried the question, or maybe you have read the problem. If you have not, okay, I want you to go through the question number 1. Okay, just read. Okay, just read the question number 1 so that when I go through it, you at least have some idea. Okay, I'll give you one or 2 minutes to read the question number 1. Okay. Now you look at the question. The average cost is given 350, and then you have, I think that one shouldn't be a problem. The marginal benefit. Okay, the marginal benefit, it is not given explicitly. It is given, if you read the question, the marginal benefit first gardener is 100. Now, how will that be, or how, given that information, the marginal benefit, how does it look like? The only information that we are given is that the quantity is perfectly correlated with the number of gardeners. So that means the landscape will be just measured by the quantity of the landscape, will be just measured by the number of the gardeners. Okay, so our public good is the gardener. Okay, and the average cost is given, that one is simple. Average cost is given as 350, and the marginal cost is 350 because it's constant. So you will do this. The first quantity, so when you draw the diagram, you have the quantity of the gardener. Okay, this is gardeners. The first quantity is 100. So here, let's say I got 100, 200, and then 350 will be up there. Okay, so 350 will be up there. That is the average cost. And the maximum, the marginal cost first gardener is 100. Okay. Okay, now, how does the demand function look like? The marginal benefit of the gardeners look like? The first quantity is 100. All right. So when the first quantity is 100, then what you can say, or how can we deduct about the quantity or the marginal benefit of the gardeners, the marginal benefit. We are only given Q equal to 100, right? And then how does it look like? So this is the thing that you need to think about, correct? How does the marginal benefit look like, correct? Suppose 3. Okay, so you can try question part A. All right, question part A, you need only that point. Okay, for question part A, you have the market. All right, under the market, that means consider it's a private good. The market provides. So what is the optimum quantity? So that is part A. Similar to the question that was in the quiz. And then for part B, it is assumed that 1, 2, 3. Now suppose the optimum, the efficient gardener is 3. Suppose that is equal to 3. So when you have 3, what you do here is you just go back to that thing. That means the marginal benefit function will intersect the average cost Q equal to 3. Okay, because it's assumption, and then you can go here to see how much would be everybody. And then the efficient amount is 3, and then it's a different thing. And then you have the political equilibrium. If each voter is assigned $50 tax share. So the tax share here would be 50. Okay. And then how much would everybody pay? So that would be part B. So you have to make the comparison between the political equilibrium. Now, political equilibrium is by the voting. All right. Political equilibrium is by the voting. The efficient amount is by the Lindahl equilibrium. Okay? The Lindahl model is the one that gives you the efficiency. So the efficiency condition is the Lindahl model, voluntary contribution. Political equilibrium, you do it by the voting. So that is for part B. So there are three things here. One, part A is the private provision, and no private provision, the market provision, okay? And then for B, you make the comparison, the political equilibrium by voting, and then the Lindahl equilibrium by contribution, okay? Voluntary contribution. And another aspect of this question here is everybody has the same, okay? Everybody has the same marginal benefit. So that is another piece of information that we need. All right, so I would like you to discuss over the weekend this question. If you have any problem, or you can, you can in the WhatsApp. And then question number 2. Okay, question number 2. If you see that question, you will see here, it's on the political equilibrium. All right, similar to the part B lah, political equilibrium. So you do by voting. All right, so here is majority vote. So you do the voting. And then what you will see here, you do the question as per the information given. Now, I would like you to do this. For B, all right, I want you to make up the second part. So this is question 2, part 2. It's the same question. Okay, you answer the same question, but I give you a change to the marginal benefit. So if you look at Susan, okay, everything else will be the same. For Susan, let's change the numbers a little bit. Okay, let's change the number a little bit. So for her, let's say we start with 70, and then 40, 45, and then 20. Okay lah, 25. 25, 0. It doesn't matter. The only things that I change is that one and that one. All right. So that will be part 2. So you answer the same thing with also that change of information. Paham tak? Okay,
Yes,
paham?
sir. Paham.
Yeah. Yes. Ya, apa dah? Apa dah? Okay, for Susan.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, for Susan, this is the change, all right? So you do another, I mean, with this change of information, you repeat question number 2, all right? And just do it. So that is 1 and 2. And then number 3, I ask you to do number 4 lah. So tak apalah, number 4 tu we will do it every next time. Okay, I want you to discuss and then do it. Okay. I'm not sure whether I want you to submit or not. Okay, depending on our time. Okay, so that's the problems. Now for the quiz, I will go through the quiz. Okay, number 1. Okay, question number 1 for the quiz. Are you done with that? So I think I will. Okay, I need to keep there, for my information. Now for the quiz, question number 1, that is 10 points. Okay. Education. What is education? I mean, in terms of the question I asked you, why the government try to make sure that everybody having a minimum education level? Okay, so the argument is education give extra benefit. So if we are educated, okay, educated young people, they will give positive benefit to the society. All right, positive benefit, external, okay, external, positive external benefit to the society. I think I mentioned this in class when we discuss about the positive externality. So that would be the positive consumption externality. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit about that. Okay. Now, positive consumption externality, that means the social benefit, all right, will be higher than the personal benefit. Okay, the personal benefit. That means if you look at the marginal social cost will be equal to the marginal cost plus the marginal external, I'm sorry, marginal benefit, not the cost. Marginal benefit plus the marginal external benefit. So this is consumption externality. You consume education that will indirectly give positive benefit to the society, extra benefit. In terms of what? In terms of when you are being educated, you make other people also feel better, okay? Because your approach, your knowledge, benefit people. And also we tend to commit less crime because we are more educated. Of course, that doesn't mean every educated people doesn't commit crime. So that is the argument. And then what you do, you look at the diagram, because if in the presence of positive externality or positive consumption externality, you will have to compare the market. Okay, you have here the supply, that's the demand or the marginal benefit or the demand. And you look at the market equilibrium, which is EC, and then that would be QC, that is the competitive equilibrium. Now, with the extra marginal benefit, then you have the market marginal benefit. All right. So you make the comparison for the competitive equilibrium. Okay, demand is equal to supply. Then equilibrium is EC. You got Q equal to QC. And then for the social equilibrium, what happened? You have the it's not the market demand function. That's the social demand supply demand function. So you got here MSB. All right. The MSB equal to the supply or the marginal cost, which is also the supplier. Okay. So here you can use marginal benefit equal to marginal cost. Should be the same thing. And then equilibrium is what? Equilibrium is ES, Q equal to QS. So if you look at the equilibrium, that is ES, equilibrium will be QS over there, Q. So as you can see, the quantity for the market is less than the quantity of the social equilibrium. So therefore, we say that the market will provide too little education, or the market under-provide education. It should be what? The society wants more, okay? The social equilibrium should be higher. So therefore, to make education available to most people, the government will give subsidy. So you just say, to make more people educated, which is the social equilibrium, that means the government will have to subsidize education. So there will be the subsidy. I don't think you need to show the subsidy in the diagram, but as long as you mention, the government subsidize education, so that we can realize the social equilibrium, that will be fine. Okay? Or I think most people didn't say about the subsidy, but I don't take out points. Okay? I just want to see that we show the market will under-provide. So the idea of this question is just to get knowledge of this diagram. When there is a positive externality or negative externality, that means we should be able to make the comparison, okay? The equilibrium and market equilibrium and the social equilibrium. So many people, okay? Many people, you just write blah, 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 blah. Whatever you write, I don't understand, okay? Now, when you answer a question, you go to the, you go to the relevant literature. What is this about? You argue, okay? And then to support your argument, the second part, you draw a diagram. Because like I said earlier, our tool of analysis is the diagram. And it is not that difficult diagram. It's a simple diagram, supply demand diagram. It's just an additional, shift of the curve. So we should be, you should give me this thing and what is the externality. So that's it. All right. You don't have to go discuss about education or, people spend money on education to become educated, things like that. Of course, if you want to say that, you can put it later on, okay, at the end. But our basic argument, economic argument, is this, because that's the concept. Okay, any question about this thing? Okay, another thing, some students, they use the production externality. There is a positive production externality. That means the change is on the supply function or the marginal cost. So there are a few people who do that. So I don't really, it's quite flexible. Okay, if you give me this one, of course, it's not fully right, but it is not fully wrong as well. So, oh no, this is the cost. If you give me this one, really right, but okay lah. But the one that we are looking at is, of course, the marginal external benefit. Okay, any question? The first question here, anything? So if you got this wrong, please redo. Okay, many people got that wrong. I thought, I thought we can do this question. Okay, for question number 2, you have the first part, the market. Okay, if it is a market, that means it's just like what? It's just like a private good. The market provided. Okay, it's a private good. So for the first part A, consider that a private good. Okay, when it is a private good, you need to derive the market demand. Now, how does the market demand for a private good look like? I think we did this in class. I think we did it twice. Okay, market demand for a good, you have to what? You have to sum vertically. That means at each price, you sum up the quantities. So what you do here, you look at the price, and then we look at the quantity. Now we look at the price. What are the prices given? Okay, first price 180, and then the second price you got 170, and then 160. You don't need much more lower than that. Or you can give me just okay. So when price is equal to 180, what is the quantity demanded? 1. Okay, by the first person. And then 170. I don't have my question right now. It's in the classroom. But for quantity or for the price 170, you will see here 3. Okay, 1 plus 2. I think 1 plus 2 equal to 3. So I do not know. You can go back and say here who demanded. And then for 170, this is for whom? This is for whom? I think for the first person, second person, and then 160, you got total 6. Of course, you got the summation. Now that is the market demand for a private good, if it is a private good. So what is the equilibrium? Now, when you do that, you get the equilibrium. You draw the diagram. You know, when you draw the diagram, that make your argument more solid. So you got that thing. We have the marginal cost, which is 170, not 170, 700, which is equal to the average cost. And you look at the market demand, you will see here when Q equal to 1, that will be 180. To 170, be like that. So the market demand will be like that. So there will be no point where the demand function will intersect the supply function. All right. So if you look at the diagram, then you can show by the diagram. So graphically, okay. Graphically here, if you extend it to 0, also that will be the maximum point. Graphically, there will be no equilibrium. Why? Because for equilibrium, what do you need? We need the demand equal to the supply, or equal to the marginal cost. So there will be at Q equal to 0. Or we can say demand equal to supply will not occur at any Q bigger than 0. Okay, we are talking about Q bigger than 0 because it's a public good. The intersection will be here, you know, be at negative somewhere there. So don't worry about that. So there will be no equilibrium or at any Q equal to 0. So therefore, equilibrium will be Q equal to 0. All right. So you can say no good is provided. Provided. Or there is no public good provided. Okay. So if it is under the market, or if the market is a private good, we don't provide. We cannot provide the public good. Okay, now from here, you know, by doing this a few times, you can see that normally the public good, the price is much higher. Okay, the price of the public good is much higher than the price we are willing to pay individually. So that's why you have to have a collective. Okay, you have to have a collective cooperation in order for everybody to contribute so that we can purchase the public good. Okay, so you can see that now. Okay, now the second part. If it is a public good and it is provided by the voluntary contribution. So the second part, it's the voluntary contribution or the Lindahl model. That means what you have would be the market demand you need to get. Okay. So the market demand for a public good, what? How do you get it? The horizontal summation, okay, of the demand function. That means you sum the prices, or you will sum the marginal benefit of everyone at each quantity. Okay, so that one actually will come directly from the table because the table is made for a public good. So given all this marginal benefit, then you get the market marginal benefit, which you have to show lah. Okay, for Q equal to 1, 2, and so on, what you will see is for Q equal to 1, 800, and then 750, and then for 3, you got 700. Right. So you got that. For equilibrium, what is the condition? The market demand must equal the marginal cost, which is equal to 700. All right. So if you look at the table, equilibrium will occur at what? At Q equal to 3. Or N, okay? I want you to draw the diagram as well. Because the same diagram, you answer a few questions, not just a question. Now, this diagram is very important. When you look at the diagram, you don't have to draw it nicely, just sketch it, right? So that's the marginal cost, 700. And then you have the quantity, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And then you have the market demand, all right? 800 be somewhere there. 750, 700. So that is the market demand. Equilibrium is here. So you got Q equal to 3. Now, when you draw the diagram, it really supports the answer, you know. To support the answer that equilibrium is equal to 3 because equilibrium is when the market demand equal to the marginal cost. So the condition here is important. Okay, condition is important. How do you get that equilibrium? Now, some people just tell me equilibrium is Q equal to 3. That is answer part B. Answer part A, Q equal to 4. Now, this is like, you know, if you give me the answer, you don't get any mark. Okay, this is just like a lazy person. Okay, now when we do question at this course, you know, this is third year level course, you have to do some analysis. Okay, you have to do some argument. Okay, so when you do the analysis, in order for you to get the answer, that means you present your argument. Now, the argument here is not writing an essay. The argument here is giving the condition. So, number one, what is the condition for that thing or the condition in how you get the answer? Okay, which is very important. So, the condition to get the answer is that condition. So, in order for you to get that condition, you need the market demand function. So, that is our market demand function. Okay, and then that's equilibrium. So you show that at the equilibrium Q equal to 3 by the table here. Okay, because the market demand equal to 700 and equal to the marginal cost at Q equal to 3. And that is supported by the diagram. You draw the diagram, you can see it clearly. All right, so that is the argument, or that is our analysis. If you just give me the answer, it's like answering a multiple choice question. You can just shoot it, and that doesn't work. So it's better, okay? It's better. I would prefer, okay? You give me a wrong answer, that's fine. But you have the argument. You say the equilibrium over here, and then you get the market demand equal to marginal cost, and then you say Q equal to 2. Now, probably you make some mistake on the way, but you understand the concept, okay? But the answer is wrong. So this is better than if you give me the answer just in one short sentence, equilibrium is 3, which is right. But how you get 3? So it's better if you give me wrong answer, but you give me argument, okay? maybe there is a mistake that you committed along the way, but that may not be a major mistake, because you get the argument right. So when you answer question, be more analytical. All right. I don't expect you to write me a 2-page analysis. Analytical means just argument that is related to that question. So just present the argument lah. And our argument is not essay argument. Our argument is economic. Okay, just economic argument. The condition. What is the condition, and then how you get it. All right. And of course, for some question you may write a few sentences just to support that. Okay. Any question? Okay. That is A, B. Okay, for C, what are the Lindahl prices? Now, as I said, Lindahl prices are the contribution of everyone at the equilibrium quantity. So you see the demand function of everyone will be like this. Right, there are 5 people, right? 5 people, yeah. So you will see, or at Q equal to 3 here, you will see the marginal benefit of everyone. So that will be the Lindahl prices. So for Lindahl prices, the part C, that means the marginal benefit for everybody at Q equals to 3. So that is the Lindahl prices. You have to say it. Otherwise, how do you know it is Lindahl prices? That will be equal to what? At Q equal to 3. Then you will see the MB for A is equal to 160, and then so on. So of course, the total up will be 150. So that is Lindahl prices. The Lindahl prices is the marginal benefit or the willingness to pay at the equilibrium quantity, not the 700. Okay, 700 is not the Lindahl price. Lindahl price are the contributions of everyone. Okay, so that is for part C. Now for part D, you have the total cost. Okay, what is the total cost of providing the good? The equilibrium quantity is equal to 3. So average cost multiplied by equilibrium quantity. And you know the equilibrium quantity is equal to 3. The average cost is 700. That will give you 2,100. So that is the cost. Now, many people even couldn't get the cost. We did cost from first year, from business math, principles of microeconomics. All this time, we are talking about cost, profit, revenue. What else? Yeah, that's it. And then you look at the revenue. Okay, revenue will be the contribution. Okay, the total contribution, or you can say total here, that will be the revenue. Okay, equal to what? Now you have everybody contribute based on their marginal benefit. So you break up the contribution. So A's contribution will be equal to what? Be equal to the number of the quantity, equilibrium quantity, multiplied by the marginal benefit. So the equilibrium quantity, which is Q star, right, multiplied by the marginal benefit at the equilibrium level. So that will be equal to what? That will be equal to for A contributing 160. That is per unit. Okay, that's per good, per unit of the good multiplied by 3. So you get, and then for here's a contribution of A, Then for B, you will get similarly 150 multiplied by 3. So you get the number, the sum here will be 2100. So we say that the contribution will be just covering the cost, or the revenue will be just equal to the cost of providing the public good. Okay, all right. Now for part E is on the free rider. Okay. Now you know free rider problem is when you have when you have some people who are not willing to pay for the public good, or who are not willing to contribute to the public good. Why? Because they know that once the public good is provided, everybody will enjoy, or they will understate their true preference when they want to contribute for the public good. So that is free ride, or that is a free rider. Now, in this case here, if you look at the book, and I think we discussed it also in class, free rider problem has higher tendency to occur in a big group. Let's say you have a big community, about 500 households. That case, or you have 1,000, you have 1 million people, then free rider problem has higher tendency to occur. Now, when you have a smaller group, let's say 5 people, most of them your friends, and everybody knows everybody, okay? And it's you feel obligated, okay, not to lie, because just 5 people, you're quite you don't feel good to lie. So normally, if the group is small, there will be less tendency to free ride. So in this case here, since there are only 5 people, all right, 5 people, a small group, there will be less incentive to free ride. Why? Because everybody knows everybody. I know you, you know me, we know, everybody quite well. So less incentive to free ride. If you try to free ride, probably one of your friends will question you. Is that true? So less incentive to free ride, right? Because of the small group. Free rider problem is more prominent if you have a big group. Okay, so that's it. Okay, any question? So the first question 10 marks, the second question 20 marks, so total 30.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I want to ask regarding the question 1 just now. I was a bit confused because the question said that show the market will underprovide. So from what I understand, if the analysis was on the consumption, shouldn't the term used is under consume?
Oh, that means that is when you were that was the confusion.
Yeah.
So what did I say?
Just now you said that the analysis should be on the demand side, right?
Yeah.
So what I understand is that the question say show that the market will underprovide. So underprovide, I thought it should be on the production side.
Yeah. That can be. I did say underprovide. Underprovide.
In the question. Yeah, in the question
say underprovide.
Yeah.
So here you understand it as should be under consumed.
Yeah, just now you said the analysis was on the demand side.
Yes, yes, yes.
So yeah, shouldn't it, if the
Yeah,
analysis on
yeah.
demand side, it should be on the
You
consumer.
know that's a valid point. I should have used under consume, not under provide, because under provide means you may think of
On
it
the production
as
side.
the supply side. Okay, if it is a demand, it's consumption. Yeah, yeah, you're right. You know, maybe so for those people who do the supply, is it because of that word under provide?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for me, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I will actually, if you do the supply function, I didn't take away that many points. But I will go through again. Okay. I will go through again for those people who use the supply because of that error of mine. Okay. Maybe I should use under consume, not under provide. I will check again. Okay. All right. So actually, when I say under provide, what I mean is the demand side is under consume. Okay. Thank you. I should say under consume. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. Nanti saya cek balik.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. That's a valid point, actually. Okay, any other things?
Sir, I want to ask question but unrelated to the question. So will we get the result for our quiz?
No, the problem is, this is done on the computer. You know, I don't make the correction on the paper. See, I just read based on my answer scheme that I discussed just now. Then I give you the marks. So I don't mark anything on your paper. So that is why when I discuss fully. Okay, at least 90%. All right, of the answer I discuss online, so that you compare to your answer. Okay, you have to compare to your answer when you do this. When you compare to your answer, then you have you can think. You know, you will not get many marks, or you think you get marks. So that's how it is. We cannot mark your paper. Okay, I only mark your paper online in the computer, in the classroom. So I give you the marks, I just read, okay? And then I give you the marks. So that is the difference. That is a problem. If you do it in the campus, then you come see me, I give you back the work, you know, I mark it, I conteng your kertas, you know, then you know. But here, it's not. If I have to print, then I got to use too much paper. I don't have a printer at home. You know, printing is another job. So therefore, it's a different kind of thing. Okay, so now what I'll do for the breakdown, okay, so that you can review your answers again. I give you the breakdown for the question. Okay, for the question that give you the question number one. Okay, question number one. Okay, for the question number one, the diagram here, okay, 3 marks. Because I want everybody to be able to draw the diagram. So the diagram 3 points. The first argument over here, you know, that small argument, 4 points. This thing here, make the condition for the equilibrium 3 marks. So total 10. Okay. So if you say positive consumption externality, or you know, positive production externality, I give you 4 marks. And then you got this condition, and then you got the diagram, and then you got the argument to say that the competitive equilibrium will be less than the social equilibrium. That is 3 marks. So 10. So you can have idea. You know, sometimes Of course, your idea may not be correct, you know, because I do the correction, not you. So you have some idea. All right. Now the question number 2, for part A, the private good. This table here, okay, to get the market demand 4 marks. The diagram here 1 mark. So for this one, the diagram I give you only one mark. But more importantly, the market demand. So the part A is 5 marks. All right. Now for the part B, you have the market demand. Okay, you done here? Okay, the market demand for the part B, here, the market demand, you got 4 marks. And then the market demand and of course the equilibrium, okay, 4 marks. And the diagram here, 2 marks. Because this diagram, okay, this diagram is also applicable to C, where you have the Lindau prices. So Lindau prices, so itu saya bagi 2, right? Because they also show you also the demand function for every month. And then the C, D, E, everything will be given 3 marks. So 3, 3, 3. So 20 marks. Okay. So I should have given you the distribution. So that's how it is. All right. Online, that's how it is. And I try, actually, I try to be more generous, online than in real life. I mean, if you are there in the campus, sometimes I can be a little bit more strict, okay, because I can see you. But doing online, be a little bit more generous. So if some people think that your quiz is nothing, you did nothing, so you will get low mark lah. Okay. For example, if you just tell me the answer is equilibrium Q equal to 3, then your answer will be just A, Q equal to 3, B, Q equal to 2, C, 700. I mean, you have to be gajian sikit lah, Don't be too lazy. So I discussed the quiz, in quite detail. Why? Because I want you to make this as something your reference, okay, to do better. So you have the midterm, okay, coming, and then you have the final. So make sure you are in better shape later on, okay. All right. So anything else?
Sir, may I ask regarding the mark allocations of the quiz? Does this one single quiz account for 20%, or is that is it combined with the previous assignment that we did?
Yeah, I think I discussed at the beginning, right? During the weightage. How much did I say the quiz weight?
You mentioned that total of assignment and quiz is 20%.
Kalau 20 means 10. The homework is 10, quiz is 10. Okay? And
So
then
just to
midterm
confirm,
30%, midterm 30%, and then final 50%. I give you final higher 50% because that is the last chance. Okay, that's the last chance for people to improve. So, and the final will cover everything. So hopefully, many people will do much better in the final than probably in the quiz and midterm, so that you can push up your total points. Right? So that's why the 50%. The quiz, I give you 10%. Why? Because many people did badly in the quiz. So 10%, that will be that is I mean, quiz. I want to give a low weightage, and I hope midterm people do better, I give 30%, right? Okay. All right. So anything else? Good. So now we will finish up the chapter. The last part that we want to look at is on the bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, you can think of the government management, or the government employees. It can include the political appointment, okay, which are the ministers, the senators, or who else, or the government employees who are the people who runs the government, like the people in the JPA, you know JPA, Jabatan Perkhidmatan Awam, the workers in the central bank, or the workers or the employees in any public agency. So these are all public employee. Okay, so bureaucrats, we call them bureaucrats. So bureaucrats basically are the public sector employees. And of course, you have different level. You know, you have up there from the minister to the director, managing general director. You know what? You know, so many terms they use. General director, apa lagi? Inspector general. You know, general. All these are the public sector employees, and they're at different level, down to the clerks and the office boys, all those people, right? Now, if you look at the budget of the government every year, a high percentage of the budget is on maintenance of the government. And you will see the high portion of that operating budget is on the, they call it omulumen. Apa nama? Omu? Apa benda saya pernah lupa. Susah menyebut. Apa dia? Emolument.
Emolument.
Apa dia panggil?
Emolument.
Emolument. Salary, yeah. Salaries and benefit of the employees. Emolument. Nanti saya cek balik spelling ni. Saya pun dah lupa. Orang gaya menyebut. Okay. So that is the high percentage of the budget. All right. Now, when you have public employees, sometimes you call it bureaucrats. That means the upper management lah. You know, you call it bureaucrats. Now, why you call it bureaucrat? Because these are the people who have the power. Okay, who have the power to decide. Suppose you want to, I give you an example. Okay, suppose you want to apply, all right, to apply for a piece of land. Let's say in our village, you know, there is a piece of land that is situated near the jungle. Nobody owns it. It's the government land. It's about, let's say, 5 acres. So you want to apply for that land. Okay, you go to the office. What happened? I'm not talking, you know, maybe some office they are very efficient, but some office are not. Now, when you want to apply the land, what normally happens? You give the form, or you know, probably when you go to apply, they give you the form. All right. Or if you go to the office, you go to the first office, that office will say, oh, the form is not here. The form, you have to go upstairs. Then you have to go upstairs. When you go upstairs, the guy upstairs say, oh, the form is the other office on the same floor. So you have been 3 offices to 3 office. You get the form. You fill up the form. To fill up the form, it takes you 1 week or more because you have so many things to include. Now, when you fill up the form, you submit the form, they say it's wrong. So you have to go home, refill, and then you submit again. You submit again, they say come next year. Okay. Now, when you come next year, they say, oh, we are not done yet. Yeah, you still have to go to the director office or the district officer office. So come again next year. So to apply for the land, it will take what? It will take 3 years. So the land now become a big jungle already. So 3 years. So that's why you call bureaucracy. The government employees, because of the power they have, right? The power they have. So they'll become inefficient. Okay, they just want to show power. And then when they want to show the power, there is a tendency to corrupt. Okay, why? Because you make life so difficult for the people. 3 years. Some people who has money, okay, I give you under the table, all right, to expedite. So some people give you extra money, and this can be done actually in 1 month. You see? So some people who have the resources, they will do this. So there is, there's a tendency. So if you refer, to the last few weeks, the department with corruption, where was what department was that? That was discovered by the anti-Rasuah. Do you read the news? The government agency or government department that was
Custom.
Custom. Okay, the custom of immigration. These people, there's some people driving Rolls Royce, Porsche, like that. So where do they get the money? And these people have the power, okay, because they control a very critical sector, very important, actually very important to the country. If some are corrupted, then the country is actually losing. So that is the bureaucrats. All right. Now, why we have this kind of behavior for the bureaucrats? So if you look at that example, the bureaucrats tendency is you are irresponsive. Okay, irresponsive to people's need. Sometimes not responsible. Okay, not responsible, and too much red tape. Okay, you make things difficult for people. So why is this? Of course, why is that? Because they are the monopoly. Okay, they have the power. They are the monopoly in providing the service. If I want to apply for a land, I cannot go anywhere. Okay, except the land office in the district, in the government. Right. But there is another issue lah. Issue in Raup lah, Raup Hang, yang buka tanam belian Musangking tu, that is actually illegal land. They don't apply. Probably they applied, but it was not approved. Of course, it's not approved because they want to apply, I think, hundreds of hectares of land. That is quite large. But the land that we're talking about here is only 5 acres. It's a small amount. But the land that they open up for the durian Musangking, it's hundreds of hectares. Thousands of hectares. It's a big area. So maybe some element of corruption. How come they open an illegal land? We don't know. It's already over more than 10 years. Okay, so that is another example lah. All right. Now, why is this so? What is the explanation? So the model that we're going to look at is that we want to look at the behavior of, want to study, okay, the behavior of the bureaucrats. Why the behavior is inefficient. Suppose we think of it as this way. You look at the manager. Okay, the manager. Let's say the manager of a government, manager of a business manager, kita panggil manager kan, versus director. Okay, director of an agency. Okay, this is government ni. All right, this is government, that's the private. Manager, and he is the owner, okay, of that business. And this guy here is the director of the agency government. Let's say agency to distribute the fertilizer to the farmers. And this one business lah. He has a business selling, say, selling bananas. Okay, so now, what is the difference? Okay, what is the difference between the two? Here, it's a private business. Here, you are the director of your agency. All right. Okay, now, what is the difference in the behavior of these two? This is just, you know, you just throw out what you think before we come up with the proper model. You think, okay, you think of, imagine one man, okay, own the business, he managed the business, and then there is another guy who managed the government agency. Say, you know, like I say here, to distribute the fertilizer, and he's the director. So position-wise, about the same. So what is the difference in, or what are the differences in behavior?
I think the manager of the private company is more motivated.
No, this is your own business. Okay, this is your own business. You will be more committed because that's your own. This guy here is just a director of the agency, and you are given the fertilizer, just distribute. All right. So you can say, unless, you know, there is some values, but tendency will be less committed. All right. Now, what else? This guy here, okay, because it's my own company, I will work what? I will work hard. And I will work hard to make sure that my company is efficient. In other words, I will reduce my costs and increase my revenue so that the bottom line will be improved. Okay. What about this guy? He doesn't have to worry about profit. Okay. So here, there is no worry about profit. No worry about performance. It doesn't matter, you know, as long as what? As long as my salary is high. Okay, and benefits there. So I don't have my commitment. You know, I don't worry about efficiency. Why? Because the goods are there, and then my salary is given, the budget is there, so why should I? All right, the fertilizer sometimes may not go to the farmers on time. You know, they don't care. All right. So here, what we are concerned about, the director in this agency, is not about the performance of the agency, but more about what? More about his or her own benefit and power. So that's why you can see, all right, sometimes you read in the paper, some people, they just get the position in a government agency or, you know, government. What is the first thing they do? What are among the first thing they do? They buy new cars, okay? They replace new cars. You know, they spend money not on what they are supposed to do, but they spend money more on their own, for their own benefit. Okay, they buy new cars, they replace the cars, or they refurbish office, okay, to make the office big, comfortable, but not doing the work yet. So they will maximize their own benefit, their own power first. That is their objective. And if you compare to a business owner or his own business manager and owner, he doesn't care about his office. You know, he can have a small office, or he can have a regular car, a normal car, doesn't matter, as long as his business is doing well. But of course, you know, I'm not saying everybody, but some of our people, you know, doing business tak jalan lagi, dah tukar kereta lah. Tahun depan, lingkup lah business. Alright? So we are not talking about those people, we're talking about on average. So that is the idea. So for this model, we're looking at a model of bureaucrat behavior. And the bureaucrat, they will maximize their power. So the bureaucrats here, they don't maximize profit. Okay, for a firm, we maximize profit. For them, they will maximize their own benefit. All right, their own benefit, their own size of the bureaucrat, and their power. So maximize power, benefits, personal benefit, or its own budget. Okay, own budget. And what else? Maximize own budget. All right, for own benefit. Okay, so that is the difference. You look at the firm. Okay, the business owner. The firm maximize profit. How to do that? They minimize costs. Okay, minimize costs, and then maximize the revenue. So you'll see here they are efficient. Okay, they'll be efficient. Here will be inefficient because they maximize their own benefit, not the benefit of the agency. Okay, so that would be the problem. So now what we want to look at is, how do you choose? Okay, how do they choose? The Q, right? Q here, the output level lah. Okay, output level. Think of it as the size of the bureaucracy, the size of the office lah, of the office of the bureaucrat. All right? How do you choose Q? And you want to make the comparison. The efficient Q is the one for the firm. The bureaucrat, it's inefficient. All right. So we just make that comparison. So we just use a simple diagram. Okay, simple diagram, marginal revenue, marginal cost. So if you look at the efficiency condition, what is the efficiency condition? Marginal revenue equal marginal cost. So that Q will be the Q that maximize the profit. All right. So if you look at the diagram, I will draw the diagram. So that is the Q, the bureaucracy size or the output size. And then you got the revenue, the cost. That's 0. Now revenue function normally will shape like this. So that's revenue. Cost function normally will go like that. I put here cost. Macam ni tak hilang ni. Kat situ. Okay, so you got the revenue, you got the cost. Now for the firm, okay, you want to see the efficient one. For the firm, the condition is marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. And of course, you look at the marginal revenue will be somewhere here. And the marginal cost will be there. So at that point, say Q star. At Q star, marginal revenue equal marginal cost. The slope of the revenue, that is the marginal revenue function. That's the marginal revenue. That's the marginal cost. You see here, the marginal revenue, marginal cost will be the same. Okay, the slope of the revenue and the slope of the cost will be the same. In other words, the marginal revenue and the marginal cost same. So at that point, so you get Q star, that is the efficient Q. Efficient Q. That is how the firm behave. Okay, so that maximize profit. Now, for the bureaucrat, they don't maximize profit. What do they maximize? They maximize their own power, their own size of the agency. So they just want to maximize this one. So what they do for the bureaucrat, they will choose output. Okay, choose Q where revenue is just equal to the cost. All right, revenue equal to the cost, and you see the point here is say point call it EB, the equilibrium for the bureaucrat. That will be QB. So when R equal to C, equilibrium Q equal to QB. Okay. Now, if you look at the point here, where revenue equal to the cost, what can you say about the marginals? What can you say about the marginal revenue? And what can you say about the marginal cost? Look at the diagram at QB. All right. What can you say about the what do you call it? About the marginal revenue, marginal cost?
Marginal revenue equals to marginal cost.
Marginal revenue equal to marginal cost is here. Okay, you see here marginal revenue, marginal cost, they are the same. I mean the slope. The slope of the revenue, they are the same. So marginal revenue, marginal cost equal. All right. But over there, what can you say?
Revenue is equals to total cost.
Revenue equal to total cost. That's right. Now I'm talking about the marginal. the change in revenue, the slope
The
of the
slope
revenue.
of marginal revenue equals to 0.
Marginal revenue is, yeah, of course, almost equal to 0, but not 0. It's quite flat. It's very small over there. Now, what about the marginal cost? Okay, you raise a good point. Marginal revenue is very small. Okay, almost 0, but not actually 0 lah. Actually, not 0. By that is looking flat because of my diagram. Now, what about the marginal cost?
It intersects.
Marginal cost. What can you say about marginal cost? Marginal cost ni dia.
People.
They are different. Okay. Over here, the marginal cost and the marginal revenue, they are not the same. Okay. So if you look at the revenue equal to the cost, the marginal revenue and the marginal cost, they are not the same. So how do they compare if they're not the same? You look at the diagram, which one is bigger?
Marginal cost.
Marginal cost is bigger. Okay. So in other words, you are operating at the point where your additional cost is higher than what? Your additional revenue. So if you are looking at the firm, if your marginal cost is higher than the marginal revenue, then what happened to you?
Loss.
You are losing money. Okay. So marginal cost marginal cost is bigger than the marginal revenue. In other words, your additional cost is much higher than your additional revenue. So we are losing money. So that is suffering loss there. Okay, your addition to the revenue is much less than your addition to the cost. So that's why we are operating at inefficient level. So they choose what? They choose R equal to C. But actually, in terms of marginals, the additional cost is much higher than the additional revenue. So in other words, okay, R equal to C. That's right. But in terms of the additional additional amount, the additional to the cost is much higher than the addition to the what do you call it, to the revenue. So actually, they should scale down output. Okay, they should scale down output. So actually, it's not a loss lah. It's actually it's a loss in the sense that in terms of the addition, but in terms of the total at that point, you just break even. The revenue is just equal to the cost. That is inefficient. Okay, so the bureaucrats will choose the output level R equal to C, or the marginal cost is much higher than the marginal revenue. That output level will be QB. And QB is inefficient. QB is much higher than Q star. All right. So the bureaucrat inefficient. So you will have too much Q. Okay. For the public sector or for the bureaucrat, you will have too much Q. In other words, your size is too big. Okay, the size is too big. So that is inefficient. So this is a model for bureaucrat. This is a model for the behavior of the bureaucrat. There's a name to that model. What is the name they use? Bureaucracy model. I have the name last time. Lupa dah nama dia.
So is it Niskanen?
Ya, betul. Apa nama?
Niskanen.
Niskanen, Niskanen model. Okay, Niskanen model of bureaucrats. Okay, so that's the model. Or for us, just simply a model of the bureaucrat behavior. But specifically, that model is due to Niskanen. We just want to say, all right, due to the behavior of the public sector in a government agency, it's not, they don't behave like a firm, okay? They don't behave like a firm. A firm maximizes profit, but for the bureaucrats, they don't, okay? They maximize their own benefit. They maximize their own size. So therefore, it will be inefficient, it's too big. So the agency is actually bigger than it should be. So that's why, every year you will see that people are saying government is inefficient. All right. So what they mean is that it's not the government is too big. The government is inefficient, meaning that the government is spending more than it should be. Suppose that agency can be maintained at 10 million, but the actual cost is 20 million. So it's inefficient. It can be done at 10 million. So now, one important issue or one issue that the government is addressing is how to make the government more efficient. Okay, in other words, you want to make the government operate at a lower cost than it should be. Okay, so that you can get more output with a smaller amount of budget, or the same amount of budget, you can get a larger amount of output. So you want to make the government more efficient. It should be because the money that the government get, they don't sell things, they get the money from the taxpayers. So it's the tax money. So when you have tax money, you should be more responsible, because that money is coming from the hard work of the people. So that kind of thing, right? So that is the bureaucracy model. Okay, any question?
Sir,
Yes.
I have a question, but not regarding our topic today, just about the assessment. So do we only have one quiz and one assignment for this semester?
Assignment, maybe I give you one more, okay?
Oh, okay.
I'll give you one more assignment, but the quiz only one.
Okay,
Because we
thank you,
don't have
sir.
time. Okay, after this, I'll give you the midterm. Okay, after that, the final. So there is actually no time for another quiz. If I have 14 weeks, probably I can give another quiz. But we are short by 2 weeks. So, there'll be only one quiz. And there is only one. But the homework, I may give you another homework. Okay, I give you another homework. That would cover probably this chapter, the chapter that I am asking you now, that we discussed earlier, or probably the chapter that we're going to do next. So that will depend. Okay, but I'll give you another homework.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, anything else? Okay, I will see you again. Have a nice weekend, and just study, Okay. All right. I'll see you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so much, sir.
Okay, have a nice weekend. Take care.
You
Thank
too.